To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next item is going to be a moment of silence.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
as Mr. Harless did, I think in last month, mentioned a dear friend of all of ours, I'd like for people to remember at this time and throughout the time, Mr. Odell Moore.
And Earl Hutchinson,
And Earl Hutchinson
very
and,
first football coach,
and Scotty.
former friend Joanne Scotty, so passed away.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, our next item is student spotlight. And you said there's none at
No.
this time? Okay. Next item is faculty and staff spotlight. No? Okay. Next one's going to be discussion and possible action on January 11th, 2016 board minutes. So I hope everyone had a chance to look at those. Does anyone have any questions on any item? If not, I'm going to need a motion to approve.
I'll make one. This will pick
I
up.
have a motion to approve the board minutes. I need a second. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is discussion and possible action on January the 27th, 2016 board minutes. Does anybody have any questions on those or comments?
Did Order 1322 include Ms. Walker's request that a revisit with data would come?
It does.
It does?
It's on there, revisit, you're gonna be revisiting that.
Thank you. No questions.
Okay, do I have a motion to approve?
I'm not sure if it's
I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is approval of minutes for special call meetings, January 13th, 2016, January the 20th, 2016, and January 29th, 2016, pursuant to KRS 61.810.
These are all of our closed session.
Just a question, Madam Chair. Can we do that all together? Not that I have a question about any one of them, but I mean, just as far as Robert's Rules of Order, can we take all of these meetings and approve them at the same time?
We can, or we can take them separate, either way you want to take them.
That's fine the way you had it. I just wanted to know if it was cool to do that.
Okay.
Where's our attorney?
He's in there.
That-
He'll be on in a few minutes, just.
Okay.
If we can.
I'm sorry. I just.
Well, we can take them separate if you like.
Take them all together. Just take them all together.
No, section.
Okay, do I have a motion to take them, to approve?
I'll make a motion.
I have a
I'll second.
motion.
I'll
Have a
second.
second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is discussion and possible action on treasurer's orders in the amount of $352,068.84. Does anyone have any questions on that?
Would these also include the two particular items that we got separate from, bills that were separate from this?
That does not include, there'll be a new business.
Okay, thank you.
Yes,
You understand what I meant, Mr. Superintendent?
Yes,
your new business, your
Yes.
two bills.
yes.
Anyone's-
Motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
And a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is discussion of possible actions on pay warrants in the amount of $358,768.37. Does anyone have any questions on this one? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, I have a motion, I need a second. Have a second, all in favor say aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is discussion of possible actions on professional trips, vehicle request, and use of district property. Does anyone have any questions on those? If not, I need a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
Have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is superintendent matters, which is report only. Do you have anything at this time?
Which I have, I was speaking just a while ago to Mr. Castee, just a minute ago. Anything you'd like to elaborate on what we just spoke on about having with a bus situation?
Yeah, we're actively recruiting bus drivers. We're under mandate from KDE to advertise for bus drivers, and we are getting a lot of the applications that are coming in with the economic downturns. We're getting a whole lot of inquiry from people, and there's a process that we have to go through. We actually do provide the CDL training up front. So if we go through the trouble of training bus drivers, you know, we have to figure out a route for them to be able to work them. I know we lose 10 bus drivers a couple of years ago, so we did have some overcrowding. And we have a couple of bus drivers that are now considered part-time subs that are in the system. And so Mr. Gold asked me, do we have routes still to, you know, overcrowding to be eased? Different routes, and we do at this time have a route. We have one person that's off on a long-term leave for medical reasons, and so we're just wondering, once we start acquiring bus drivers, can we go ahead and put them on full-time, or what the board's pleasure is in this?
We have a hiring freeze on right now. How many bus drivers are there total?
Right now, total bus drivers, full-time, we have 28.
Hiring freeze right now. How many is usually needed?
It's according to the occupancies of the buses. And right now, we do have overcrowding at the middle school. And then we do have one on long-term disability sick right now.
Have you hired part-time?
No, they're just subs, they're not hired, well, you know, as we call them, but they're working, you know, that one's working every day for the long-term disability person. But we could use the other one to relieve the overcrowding from the middle school to the high school every evening, and then I could put them on a route of the morning to lighten the load on the Warfield buses in general.
What would be the recommendation of the transportation, people who work in the transportation department with present tonight? Mr. Castee and I know those two ladies right there.
So we have right now 2 positions that could be filled by putting someone where they're elevated to the status of full-time bus driver. Bus driver or bus driver, which would be Mr. Goldberg and the board wants.
Well,
I would think so.
okay, we could do that, and say hire them full-time, the people that are off on medical leave, are they expected to come back?
I don't know, he's over the age of drawing Social Security and stuff, and he's not told me if he would be back full-time or not.
I would say sub until you find that out.
Keep team is currently, is it full-time sub or just a sub?
Do what now? I didn't hear
Just
you.
remain as the same as a sub.
Or a
Yeah.
full-time sub where we can give them insurance.
There's no such thing as a full-time sub, is there? No. I mean, there could
No,
just
we
be a.
never did have any here in the county. If you want to count me as a full-time sub, I drive every day.
I'd say
And working
sub.
out.
Well, it's, like I said, Pete, the guy with KD Finances, he looks at our finances in the bus garage. One of the things is we need to advertise for more bus drivers. And so we have attracted two, and we've had at least 5 or 6 that have made their way up there to start the process.
But none of them ever showed up. They come and,
But we do provide the CDL training, and so it's just one of those situations that you might need to look at probably in the next budget, because 10 were lost last year, and Nadine did an excellent job, Mr. James, in creating,
oh yeah, I done an excellent job of
saved over
Spending.
$300,000.
extending
Almost
routes.
200,000.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's a big undertaking, it needs to be applauded, I'd say. We're certainly trying to continue that on, and, but we do run into situations where we, you know, Pete said 3 things we need to do, we've been able to do 2 of the 3. One was to work on the Head Start run that's in the middle of the day. Second was to buy 2 buses, and third, get more bus drivers on staff.
But we can look at that during the budget, right? We can just keep the sub and just look at the rest during the budget, since we do have a hiring freeze.
But that's the reason I brought it to the board's attention, was because I knew we'd had the hiring freeze put in place last Monday, and I said, well, if it's a situation we need to have extra drivers hired, I want to come before the board first before we tried to make, before anything took place.
Do you feel that using subs would take care of the problem, or?
Well, I can understand the subs position.
Yes.
You know, I'm driving almost every day, and I don't know what the protocol is as far as personnel system weeks that you work with, when you have to come over as what you would call a full-time employee. I know we have a personnel department, HR department, I would call it, that is looking out for that type of thing. So you're on a daily basis. At what point do you say, okay, you want to receive the benefits of everybody else doing the same job? I mean, that's the question.
Yeah.
I realize it's hard to get good bus drivers. How
And we'll
long,
take all we can get, and we contract them too.
How long have they been subbing for?
Since October,
October?
Full-time?
just about every day. And then, see, when we was off for Christmas and then we had that big snow, they went 2 weeks, a month, and brought $40 a piece. Because we had no school, so they could work. And if you put them on full-time, they could get a check, you know, they could live.
Why don't we revisit this? Let's speak with our finance lady. She isn't here.
so how many full-time bus drivers do you really need at this point?
We could use 2 more. Because now, you know, this summer, we've got several drivers that are eligible to retire.
I'm taking a total of 2 or total of 4 there.
So is this gonna help relieve the overcrowding?
Yes. We've had a problem with that.
I mean, if that's gonna relieve overcrowding and help us for the safety of the kids, then that's,
We don't need any children standing on a bus.
Oh, they're standing on the bus?
No, not if I can help it. If
Sorry.
we have to set 6 in a seat, they'll not stand.
Okay.
3 to 6, all the way back, all the way
3
back
to
through there.
seat, all the way back.
So,
It's kind of hard with middle school kids, some of them bigger than me, and I'm.
Well, what we've got is-
so if this will help
I'm pretty good
relieve
at
the
that myself.
overcrowding, we have the funding.
If this is to relieve overcrowding and the safety of the kids, I can't be against it.
Me either. Me either.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, even though we do have a hiring freeze on.
But we have a hiring freeze until it's brought before
For
the
review.
board. Isn't that correct?
Yes,
Madam
until
Chair?
the position is needed.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think his position is needed.
It sounds like there is a
So is it 1
need.
position or 2?
We can use one the Warfield, but like I said, we've got this other one that's driving every day. For the one that's out on disability, and we don't know when he'll be back.
Oh, but we don't know that one for sure, so it's for sure one, right? Okay. Well, until we find out something for sure on the other one.
So can we make a motion that we hire?
Yeah.
So I make a
Hire
motion that
one.
we hire
Our
for
one,
Yes.
okay.
I'll second.
I have a second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, so we hire. That's right. Okay, our next item is going to be discussion and possible action on contract between Martin County Board of Education and Appalachian Service Project for the use of elementary, Warfield Elementary School. Skip one. Yeah, skip one, I'm sorry. Sorry. Approval of the official offer of acceptance from School Facilities Construction Commission in the amount of $12,220 annual debt service. Okay, do you want to explain that one to us?
Basically, the board has, you all have the document in front of you. You can look at it, it says pursuant to KRS 157-622, School Facilities Construction Commission is hereby making an official offer of assistance to the Martin County School Board of Education. Acceptance of this offer of assistance commits the school district to adhere to the statutes and regulations governing this program. This offer of assistance is in the amount of $12,220 annual debt service on bonds to be sold for proposed construction or major renovation of the facilities outlined in your most current approved facility plan. These funds or any of those escrowed for the purpose of receiving this offer must be used only on priority 1 project of your district's facility plan. House Bill 235 of the 2014 regular session of the General Assembly. You can read you can see what it states there. So, and at the last paragraph it says, in responding to this offer of assistance, you must provide this office with an excerpt of your board minutes, either accepting or rejecting the offer within 30 days of receipt of this offer. The page from your district's 2015 audit verifying the remaining fund balances in both the building fund and the capital outlay fund. A copy of the general ledger entry showing the transfer of your fund balances into the building fund and capital outlay FCC escrow current accounts. So,
I don't see that. Where'd you have that?
do you have it? You all have it?
Yes.
I got it.
Yeah.
Where'd you find it at?
We
Your
just,
packet here?
yeah, it's right here, the school facilities construction commission.
So they're going to give us
$12,220 annual debt service.
Hey, they're going to give us $12,000, you know? And we refuse money?
What do we have to do for that 12,000?
Well,
The whole thing about this is, Mike and you advised us on that this is, so that.
They just want to give you some money, so I'd accept it. You don't have to do anything.
Okay.
I'll
I'll second the motion.
They're giving away money.
I will make the motion to accept.
I'll second it.
A second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, we take the money. Okay, our next item is going to be discussion and possible action of contract between Martin County Board of Education and Appalachian Service Project for the use of Warfield Elementary School.
That's Warfield Elementary?
Warfield Elementary, yeah, that's where they used last year, I think. Yes.
Well, the only thing I hate about that, could we make some kind of arrangement that these people have a warm place to shower? I mean, they used the school before down there and they didn't have, they used cold water to shower.
They
I
have
think
more
they
water
did
this
stay.
They
summer.
have more, okay,
Who said that?
Terry.
Mr. Quillen.
Have they fixed it? Okay, they fixed it, Mr. Quillen?
Yes, they have warm water this summer.
Okay,
The previous summer they did not.
yeah,
Last summer they did have warm water.
okay. Well, I figured
They
since
did a
you were
lot
there,
of
they would
good
have
things
one.
while they were here, I think.
Yeah, everything's fine. And I get $5,000.
How much do you get?
$5,000.
So your recommendation on this particular thing?
My recommendation is go with it.
Oh, well.
Thank you.
Okay,
I vote to go with it.
okay, you make that motion
I
then?
make the motion.
Okay, and have a second, all in favor, say aye.
I will go with it.
Motion carries. Our next item is going to be discussion of possible action on design development BG2 and BG3 firms for the new high school in Martin County pending KDE approval.
Okay, so I can speak for a minute here. These are the forms for the high school that I kind of brought up earlier. okay, the BG2 and the BG3. We've got design development documents rolled up over there. We'll leave those with you. But this is, you know, our sort of middle of the road checkpoint here, okay? So design development, we're about 50% done with the design of the building, all right? There's a BG2 form and a BG3 form, should be in your packet. BG2 has, probably the big thing to point out on the BG2 is the list of alternates. I did attach a list to the back of the BG2 form. If you flip over to the memo there, dated February 4th, you'll see we have 7 alternates listed at the moment. Okay. And the BG2 form talks a lot about kind of the construction of the building, what types of finishes we're going to be using on the inside. It's got some energy efficiency comments or questions filled out. Yeah, if anybody has any questions on the BG2, I'd be happy to answer them now.
See attached.
Tell me again, the slopes versus the level structure.
Okay, so what we're talking about there is basically a flat roof versus a pitched roof. So it's using a low slope roof, right? Which is a pitch between a quarter inch to 1 inch, and a sloped roof, you know, having something greater than a 312, let's say.
And what would be the rationale to do that?
Well, the rationale to do that, I think, number one, the low sloped roof offers a lot of benefits, I think, in the performance of the building. Okay, I think you get a lot more functionality out of the detailing that can be done with that. We can put a highly reflective membrane on it, right? Thereby causing the building to use less energy. With a white PVC membrane is what we're planning on using. That's going to be placed over a lightweight concrete that'll be placed on a level structure. There's some cost economics involved in that as well, where instead of somebody placing steel joists at an angle all the way down a building and having to adjust their joist seats, they can just fabricate many of the same type of joist and set it on a level structure. So there's some economy and repetition there, both in the fabrication of the joist and the setting of the joist.
So what you're telling me is that it's a cheap, a less expensive way of doing it, but also it has the capacity to save on the energy costs.
Yeah.
Okay. And my second question, just bring me up to date about the not to install the tables required to place desktop computers in the classroom. What's that all about? It's the last bullet, sir.
Yeah. So I think what we're getting into here is the waivers, and what that's all about is that, you know, KDE the Department of Education has requirements that they set forth on the buildings. This one in specific has to do with basically data ports that are being placed down the wall. Nowadays, wireless infrastructure is so much faster and more prevalent. What we like to do in new buildings is place more wireless connection points and get rid of those kind of hardwired data drops. Now, we're not getting rid of all of them. You know, we'll still keep some where the curriculum's asked for them in those spaces. But what this does is it gives us the flexibility to work with your staff and your teachers to basically decide, you know, which rooms that goes into. They'll always be able to connect to the internet via wirelessly.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So the teachers we'll be able to have input into this.
Oh, yeah, yeah. In fact, it's kind of driving this.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So on the
Thank you.
plans, on the plans, did you bring each one of us a copy
Of those drawings?
of the floor plan?
No. A copy of the floor plan?
Yeah.
Like
Drawing.
just, I mean, I've got those
I mean,
drawings.
I would like to, of course, the last one I got, probably need a magnifying glass to be able to see it. So,
Okay.
you know, if I had a kid turn in a paper like that, I'd probably return it. And I think our community, there should be some plans, out, you know, in the high school, middle school. I think you should bring some plans that we can put up where
Sure.
people in our community can see what we're,
Absolutely. Yeah, I'd be happy to,
well, I appreciate that.
How many plans would you like? And, I mean,
How many think we need, Mike? Well, I know we need one for each board member, and like I say, as far as putting out in the community, or if somebody comes in the board's office and asks for a plan, I'd like to have one to be
10?
able to give to them.
10?
Yeah, 10 would be good.
No, I want 15.
Okay.
I mean, they could come in and review it. I mean, they come here and look at it.
And I'd like one posted in the,
In the,
you know, middle school, high
Yeah,
school,
that'd be good.
even elementary school, because those kids are gonna be going to one high school.
Okay.
What does VCT stand for?
That's a vinyl composition tile.
And, you know, like I said, we'll go like a plan could read without a magnifying glass as far as what's in it. Appreciate it very much.
We will accommodate that. Are there any other questions on the BG2 or?
As far as the bidding of this, sir, there will be one bid that includes it all, correct?
No. The way we'll set this up, where this is a construction management project, it will be in the bid packages. So you would have, for instance, you'd have a mass excavation package, you'd have a general trades package, which would consist of the concrete, the doors, specialty items. You'd have a separate masonry package, separate steel package. So you could have all the way up to 20-some packages. Now, we do have what we call a combination package, and just depending on the region and the market, depends on how many packages we allow somebody to combination put together. So for instance, you could bid up to 3 packages. You could bid the electrical, mechanical, and plumbing. So just depending on the region is kind of how we set that up. But at the end of the day, when we come here to open up bids, we're going to open up, I'm hoping, 75 bids. But there may be 5 in the excavation, 4 in the general trades, 4 in the masonry. That's kind of how the process sets up. It's not a GC bid. There won't be one bid for the whole project.
Okay.
It'd be subcontracted.
They will all be prime contractors to you guys.
Yeah.
So you guys will hold the contracts with these guys. And everybody has to have a PMP bond. So that way, and again, with Public Works, that's assuring you're getting a quality outfit through the project.
It increases competition too, doesn't
It does.
Yeah.
Can I look at this?
Just drives your costs down.
I'm sorry, what now?
It increases competition
Yeah.
on the bids and drives
Oh,
costs
okay,
down.
yeah. I was going to ask you on this LEED certified, I'm assuming that's lighting, and it has no on that. I mean, what would
That's
that?
the LEED certification that we were talking about earlier, Mr. Ball. That's the leadership and.
Oh, okay, that has
Yeah.
nothing to do with the lighting, okay.
No.
I just want to make sure, yeah, I know that I've.
It's lighting in these BG,
Huh?
all LED,
Yeah, we're right now targeting all LED lighting.
how about sensors?
Yes, there will be, light sensors, yes.
Okay, okay, I need to ask you a question on this here. It's got a whole building life cycle cost analysis demonstrating cost-effective design. And it has no check in it. Huh?
I'll have to look at it.
Okay. It does say in here that I do like it, that it is designed to be net zero ready, correct?
We are designed to meet Energy Star and ASHRAE 90.1 by 10% minimum.
But it is being designed to be net zero, right?
That's, well, designed to be, yes, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, that's on.
We're targeting that right now, and we feel like we can,
All you gotta do is.
feel like we can get there, but we still have some, we still have some work to do here, okay? Especially based on, where we are in the budget right now.
So we're looking to be Energy Star ready?
It is gonna be, yes, it's designed to be Energy Star, yes.
That's good.
And the PVC lightweight, the roof.
Yes,
The PVC
PVC
roofing,
with
that's what
lightweight
that's what the concrete, the very, very lightweight, concrete panels that are fastened to the metal joist with the PVC membrane on top, is that correct?
No, this is actually, the lightweight that we're talking about is a lightweight concrete that's actually poured onto the roof. It's sloped.
Okay.
And then we use a fully adhered PVC membrane to glue it down to the lightweight concrete. And it's been a very, very successful system for us.
Okay, Roland, he's the roof guy.
Yeah, Ron.
I'm sorry, yeah, you're Roland, Ron,
Yeah.
okay. Have you all done it at other schools?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Been
multiple
very-
times.
And it lasts, well, from what I understand, virtually no leaks.
The type of roof system that we're putting on is this lightweight PVC roof system. And it's used in very high wind areas like Florida, Miami-Dade, that kind of thing. So
Tornado resistant.
it is going to have a warranty on it. Okay.
How
It'll have a 20-year no dollar limit warranty attached to it.
So, what did you use at Prairie Elementary School?
At Perry, not sure. I'd have to
Does
check.
one has leaking problems?
I'd have to check, I'm not sure.
Okay, which I do like it. I did talk to Ron about it. He was, so this kind of roof you say that they use in Florida and places
It's a
like
good
where you
roof
have
system.
high wind,
Yeah.
high wind,
We've done that in a lot of our schools recently.
okay. Huh?
A lot of our school remodels and upgrades have used that.
I've done that kind of roof. Well, it'd be good because the last two schools that we built leaked like, the roof leaked like crazy, just practically from day one.
It helps in energy efficiency as well. The light color reflector.
All right.
So the other form is the BG3 form, and that has the cost information on it. And if you guys have any questions about that, I can answer those as well.
Under special inspections, it's $400,000. What is that exactly?
So the special inspections has to do with hiring an inspector. Remember how Mr. Salyer here was talking about the commissioning agent as being a third set of eyes for you. It's the same thing. The special inspection agent is hired by you guys. It's a third-party independent testing agency that goes out and oversees the structural requirements. They will be taking tests of concrete and then going back to the lab and testing those for design strength, okay?
Okay, so
And
do you all take care of hiring those people?
No, you said we did.
you do, but what we do is we help facilitate. We will send out requests for proposals to 3 companies and bring those to you.
Okay.
And usually select.
And they're required by building.
But you'll have a,
We'll help you through that.
yeah, and you'll have more than one.
More than one,
Yeah.
yeah. We usually solicit for 3.
3?
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have any other questions?
I just got one more comment. I don't mean to be difficult to work with, but I am frustrated with some of, and like we asked for a couple of things, just like with the school, that the gym and auditorium, and, if we're fortunate to get those, direct access from the outside of the public, direct access, so we don't have people for safety reasons, in every catty corner we got in the high school. But yet, you know, it's gonna happen. I mean, there's no direct access to that, so. That's, I asked for that, but like I said, you know, it's, so I think that was explained maybe. The reason there was no direct access from the outside, for the public to the auditorium or to the gymnasium.
Right.
Why was that?
Well, I think it really had to do with the way that the building laid out on the site, you know. The floor plan was really created through trying to fit this building on this rock cut. And shaping the building, okay, was not happenstance. I mean, it is the way it is to generate the program, okay, that we gleaned from both KDE and your staff at the high school.
But I thought KD recommended that we have direct access from the outside to the gym.
Now, you have access into a hallway that will be able to be locked off, you know. I mean, you'll be able to, like, there's not gonna be any access to the Area Technology Center. There's not gonna be, or that hallway, you know, that leads to those classrooms. There's not gonna be any access to the classroom wing, you know, that's gonna be locked off, okay?
Yeah, that's during after-school events.
Right,
Okay.
so that when you do open up the building for after-school events like, you know, a gym event or an auditorium event, that you'll be able to sort of partition off sections of the building based on the event that's happening. So we try to be conscious about creating access to the public spaces without granting access to, you know, classrooms and stuff when school's not in. And then obviously when school's in, there's, you know, you want access to the classrooms and the gym and cafeteria.
The access point in it.
So,
Entry to a school, also a safety factor too. I mean, if you've got direct access into a part of the school that's not regularly used, and you increase the chances of an active shooter or anything like it. And I'm not arguing, I'm not saying that's not a good thing to have.
You would have less chances.
Huh?
You would have less chances. In a gymnasium, auditorium, direct access, like I said, I don't need, some shooter hiding in a caddy corner somewhere, you know, during a basketball game. I don't need him going through all these hallways.
Well, no, I'm just talking about having somebody come into a point. If you have an access point in the gym or in the auditorium that isn't used during regular school hours, that gives a person, you know, that's a place that you're gonna have to monitor. That's a place that you're gonna have to look at, you know, kind of. I know I talked to, you know, with Mr. Higgins. We talked about, you know, some of the things about the building design and, you know, stuff like that. And of course, that's, along with the thing of being energy efficient, there's also some points of places where you get a draft and things like that.
I'm just talking like the gym, Kenny comes out for this, Goffin County, new school has direct access. If I go to Johnson Center, I got direct access to the gym. If I go to Belfry, I got direct access. If I go to Pipe, I got direct access to the gym. Rather than go down 2 or 3 hallways.
There are some schools that's that way, yeah.
Most schools that I don't have direct access. Yeah, when I coached, yeah, we went to some schools and we looked and searched and like, you know if we was gonna find a gym or not.
Right.
And there could have been anybody in the corner, wherever, whatever.
What is the direct access to the gym at Johnson Central? I have never.
You just go in the front door there and turn left. There's the gym.
I was up in the hallway.
Go in the door and turn left, there's the gym.
Well, if
I
you
go
go
to
to the
Belfry,
door here, you
Go
if
Pike
you go to
Central,
the-
it's direct access to Pike Central.
Well,
yeah,
if you
there's
go-
a set of doors that's directly in front of the gym that you could, you know, that you could use as an entrance point, that you go right through those doors and you'll be right in front of the gym. And you could use those instead of like the main entrance doors at the main entrance of the building.
Yeah.
We have to get a gym first.
I have a question. Item line number 15, there's $15,000 for a property and topographic survey. That's
Yes.
also the next item on our agenda,
Right.
is the hiring of a surveyor for Holly
Yes.
Bush property.
Yeah.
I thought we already had that surveyed.
Yeah, we have a survey, and the difficult part for us is when we were gonna do this early site package, we were gonna have the site surveyed before we had, after we had all this site work done, we were gonna have it surveyed again so that contractors had a benchmark or set point that they could place their bids off of. Now that, based on Joe Nance's comment, right, that we're now following under here as far as bidding the site with the project and not having 2 bond sales, but just having one, right, combining this, consolidating this, that we need to get a site survey so that we have a benchmark for our contractors to bid on.
Basically, what Roland's saying is, you were gonna pay for it in in that first phase of the site excavation. Again, they couldn't finish their drawings up until they had that last survey, so you were gonna pay for it either during the first phase or pay for it now.
Yeah, he said it was a necessity, so what I checked on. And like I said, I don't mean to be difficult, and this is a one-time, when I don't want to have a school that, well, that's not really what we wanted. We wanted, but that's what we got. I don't want that.
Well, unless, I do want to leave the option open that if we don't get the money, if we can't get the money for the site prep, that we consider the old site. I mean, we just about have to do that. I mean, we can't, if we go down there and the state says no, then basically we're
Let's wait till they say no.
well, the whole.
They're not gonna say no.
Well, okay, well,
Yeah,
they're not
they're not gonna
saying.
say no.
Okay, we'll say this, okay, well, but I mean, we can go ahead and approve this now,
Okay,
They're not gonna say no.
okay?
That's right.
That's optimistic.
Very
That's
good.
good. Okay, let's go ahead and pay it.
okay. Then, if there's no more questions on BG2 and BG3?
Are we approving this? Are we approving? May I ask a question what is the purpose for a construction manager fee? What exactly does a construction manager do?
That's who I am.
That's
Oh,
it.
okay.
That's him.
Never
I'm
mind.
hoping I'm earning, am I doing my job, am I earning some money?
He's the guy he's the guy that puts all the pieces together.
I'm glad I'm here. I showed up.
Okay.
I had no idea.
What do you want to do about this BG2 and BG3?
Okay, the BG3 includes the roof too, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, the roof's in the construction cost. As far as the dollar amount, is that what you're asking about?
Okay, it's the BG, it's the BG.
BG2 lists the
BG2 lists the roof, yeah.
roof type.
Okay, the roof. So we're not approving anything, we're just,
Well, you're approving the design development documents.
okay, yeah.
This is a big checkpoint for us.
It's
yeah.
protocol from KDE. We gotta do this step and go to the next step.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
Okay, do we have an itemized list of the estimated furnishings, the equipment furnishings or anything?
No, and that's really kind of drafted by the district, but what that line item is for is so that the district can purchase new furnishings for the school, like desks and stuff. Now, some, fixed casework and stuff is gonna come with the building, library furnishings, but this will cover, if you wanna purchase new student desks or some new computers or something to outfit the building with, there's a pocket of money there that the district can use for that.
That'll be the guy from Paintsville, right?
Do what?
That'll be the guy from Paintsville who does that.
The guy from Paintsville?
Yeah, your old worker from Paintsville, yeah, he,
Oh, Dad.
yeah, he's your interior director, interior decorator, correct?
He's our interior designer. He does the layout of the casework and that.
Yeah, because I told him.
It helps with the selection of those if you all would like him to help with
Yeah.
the selection.
I said,
I like that old boy.
yeah, he's a nice guy. He said that he would make sure that Johnson Central and Paintsville were envious for whatever we can.
That did. That did.
cross over our side, across the county line.
Okay, yeah, I have no problem.
Do I have a motion to accept it then, or?
I'll make a motion.
Okay. have a
I'll
motion.
second it.
Have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is going to be discussion and possible action on the hiring of surveyor for the Holly Bush property.
Okay, we pretty much said that has to be done.
Okay, I'll make a motion to accept, I need a second.
I'll
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is discussion and possible action to request waiver from the Kentucky Board of Education items.
And that's the waiver for 10%.
Yes, and these are the waivers. One's for, there's a few waivers. One is for the flat structure, right? One is for the requesting to exceed the project budget by 10% as far as the site acquisition or site development.
You mean the flat structure for the roof? That's a,
Yes, that's one item. The big one is the big one that we're requesting here is a waiver on exceeding 10% of the project budget for the site development. Okay?
Okay, we talked to our attorney. Do you remember this, Mike, some time ago, Mr. Smith, some time ago, that you had told us that there'd been some, school districts that had purchased property, and then there was they had spent a lot of money.
Yeah, that's not uncommon.
Yeah, I'm sorry, what now?
It's not uncommon.
It's not necessarily uncommon in eastern Kentucky for that matter.
Okay, all right, so they will,
I would expect they would. I mean.
you gotta request it before you get it.
yeah, you gotta,
Usually, yeah, if you don't ask for it, you
Right.
can't move forward.
all right, so I have no problem. I'll make the
Okay, you
motion.
make a motion, I need a second.
I'll say.
Have a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is discussion and possible action on revised construction documents BG2 and BG3 for the East Elementary Redo project.
Okay, so we've got these construction documents that we've redesigned for you, the metal roof. And so the construction documents and the BG2 and the BG3 reflect, that metal roof design. So what we've done is we have a base bid for that, for the metal roof, and an alternate for the 24 gauge metal roof with our kind of standard spec, and then a second alternate for the pre-manufactured canopy. Okay, remember that was kind of from the first one, but we kind of switched sides on the side that wanted to be on the building, so we corrected that. Okay, and so that's the second alternate. So we've completed the drawings and we're bringing them to you. Budget, we left the budget kind of the same here. The 187,000. So with your blessing here, we'll go ahead and take these documents to KDE and submit them to KDE so that they can review everything.
Okay, can we ask Mr. Cassidy here, our maintenance facilities man, is that,
I haven't seen them, but I've seen them.
okay, so you'd recommend it?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll make a motion.
Okay, I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll say it.
Have a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next item is discussion and possible action authorizing the superintendent to advertise projects for bid.
And this is again regarding Eden Elementary School. So once we get construction document approval from KDE on these documents, we will be placing the project out to bid again.
Okay, I'll make a motion.
Okay, I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Our next item is listed under new business.
Yeah, okay, we've got the attorney bill earlier from, that we had talked about, Mr. McCoy had mentioned earlier, need approval to pay that for the attorney bill. Also, we have Paul Baker here who's going to be speaking about KBC and the nurses. Paul?
We have another.
Oh, okay,
We
okay.
have another one for snow removal.
Okay, for snow removal. Yes, and I do have that here also for snow removal.
Each one of
Yes.
you should have a copy of that, so.
Mhm.
So we need,
So I have Susan packet. So-
do we need a motion to pay these right here?
Yes, we need to
Yes,
approve.
These is two, I think, that came in late,
Oh, okay.
so we need a motion to pay those.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to pay for it.
Okay, I have a motion and second, all in favor say aye. Aye.
I will vote aye simply because I think paying the attorney so far has kept
Paid
Gary
off.
Ball out of jail. And
That ain't no reason to pay it.
by month, I will, how he acts will determine if I ever vote to pay you again, sir.
So we've had our motion and everything's paid, so, okay, I'm sorry, you go ahead with the business.
Mr. Baker?
I believe you all have this in your packet. Looking at we're gonna do the KBC, I know we had them here in December. Was going to just kind of ask you all to look at that again, just for a clarification, I know from the last meeting we had. They are actually not a for-profit organization, they are a non-profit organization. The other thing, I think there was some confusion about that they were going to compete with Comfort Care, which is not the case. They offer some services that are similar, but others that are different. And so that you all have there as a pamphlet, and so at the next meeting, one of the things I'm going to try to put on the agenda is for you all to reconsider the MOA that we had put forth for the rest of the school year as kind of a pilot. The other thing I wanted to do was update you guys on the progress with the school nurses. I went and approached Big Sandy Healthcare, who operates the Martin County Community Clinic and several clinics in the Big Sandy region. I knew from my work that they had done school nurses for other counties, and so I was wondering if they would be willing to maybe do that as well for us. I'm happy to report that they've right now, at least in this letter that you see before you, they've committed to providing one nurse for the next school year. And then also they would like, their only request is that they allow for them to do their dental services that they do in Floyd and Johnson counties. This would be the next school year. Not anything that you have to decide on right now. Our plan, no, just kind of letting you know that's what we're talking about. Our plan is JD and I are going to meet in a couple weeks with Steve Ward, and I've already told him that we were talking to Big Sandy and Big Sandy, Ansel Adams Ansel Lewis, who is the CEO there. We're going to meet and kind of see what, the addition of their nurse, what that does for our situation with the health department. I guess, I'm just sitting here as I'm listening, thinking about the program. I know that they asked for $100,000, the health department did, so you broke that down by nurses, that's $25,000 a nurse. And if we can get one from Big Sandy, that puts I would think it would put it at $75,000. We're already paying $50,000. I think we're pretty close. I think we could maybe work out something that for the next school year. So just want to let you know, though, that's what's going on. Any questions for me?
But remember, Mr. Baker, that, and I'm sure that Mr. Harless will back me on this, that is correct. Your figures are right if you were talking about 4 nurses.
Mm-hmm.
But we want 5 nurses.
And I would hope to get 5 nurses.
Yes, I know, but I just want you to, I don't think that the board's opinion has changed on that, have they?
No, I thought it
Has
was
it?
60,000.
Okay.
I thought we paid 60.
Well, it's plus the medical supplies. It's up to 6,000. Right, we're even closer. I think it would. I mean, we were talking today that I think that having a nurse at the high school would be great. I think the needs at the high school are there. but again,
You know,
Well, we
I
can-
just hate to be in a situation, sir, where I'm judging that that particular school is worthy of a nurse, that one is not. And, you know, all of them are. And, and I'm not blaming you, I'm just airing my grievances once again. But yeah, okay, thank you, sir.
This thing with the KBC, which we had already visited once, and which I did some things. We do have students in our school system that are actually served by these folks, right?
We do, and we actually, by proxy, already refer kids to these folks. When we refer kids to the truancy diversion program, many times they will then have KDC work with these kids. And then what we're essentially saying then is, with the situation now, is that we're not letting KDC, who we've already said these kids need help through truancy, we're not letting KDC come in and do what they need to do
In the school system.
in the school system with those kids. So, again, it's we can do it for a year, or for the rest of the year, which is at this point not that long.
Well, it costs the school system nothing, correct?
This would cost us, other than the space that they would need. So that, those are some of the logistics that I would like to work out. Making sure that when somebody from KBC's there, as far as like when, let's say somebody from Comp Care is going to be there, if there's a day a week that they're not going to be there, 2 days a week, making sure there's space that they have, it's private, that they can, see kids. It's not an area where kids are going to be walking in front of other kids and seeing and going back there. So those are kind of logistics and stuff. But
what would be
That's not going to be it. You're going to come back next month with him.
Well, yeah, right. I'm going to come back with it, and we'll just and try to revisit that issue. But any other questions or?
What would be your recommendation?
I think it's worth the try. I think
Okay.
one of the things that would be, for me, is very exciting is that they do like telemedicine. So they actually have, if they have a secure internet connection, they can do telemedicine. They can have the kid can actually see the psychiatrist at school. And if any of my educators in here, if you had kids that have mental health issues who take psychotropic medications, it's critical to get those kids get those medications, and that sometimes it's hard to get the parents, with transportation issues and getting the medications to the school. It can be a challenge. So I think it'd be really helpful for the school if we did this.
So what has changed, sir, in to make you want for the board to reconsider this? What has changed since
For
it was
me,
rejected?
Okay. Nothing has changed for me in the sense that I think I feel like I vetted this pretty thoroughly beforehand, just to make sure that this was not something that was going to be bad for our students. And I think, again, it being a short-term or a yearly thing, we can always, if at the end of the year we're not happy with the services, we can revisit it. But that's kind of where I'm at on it.
Well, what we had said at that time, that we didn't want these agencies competing, and there's no competition.
And the way that I'm handling that is, once if you all decided to allow them to come in, we have, especially I see them more playing a role at our middle and our high school, where we have, with the school climate transformation folks, we have people on the ground who, part of their job is to say, okay, what services are these kids getting? So that we're not having duplication of services, or there's not, we know who's talking to our kids, essentially.
All right.
Thank you.
Hey, Mountain Call for Susan Tackett, we,
I don't know, I don't see her anywhere, so we can skip that one. She's not here.
oh, okay. We got quality medals here too, if they'd like to, anything you guys like to share.
I'll just say a few words, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
As you know, we've been in negotiations on a metal roof, Eden roof, and we tabled the first bid. And what you have here is a company that's been with us in giving us advice on the process of putting the metal roof on Eden. And I told him, I said, if you could come tonight, instead of them telling me what to tell you all, and the architect's telling us what to do, you could hear firsthand what type of quality metal roof you could get on a school in Eden. And so I told them, just now I told them that they just have got the bid, so that's the next step. But this, I just told them it would be a good opportunity to inform the board as to what the quality of a metal roof is going to be compared to a shingle roof. And I just thought it'd be a good chance for, we had the owners and we had Billy here, it's called probably at least once a week. And they're coming in here with us and give us advice in order to get a better spec roof, get over a shingle roof. And hopefully it'll turn out to be less cost involved. So if you don't mind, I'd invite them to come over and kind of update the board and inform what's going on the roof. Because I know we had the standing seam, flat seam, and the internal fastener, external fastener. And
The gauge, the warranty, yeah, the gauge
size and all
so
that, yeah.
I thought it'd be good, and I just told them, I said, just went to bid. But still yet, they're not gonna abandon the ship on it, as will be others in the area that will bid, so we're going to quality bids. But I thought it was good to at least update you on what we're talking about here, so that's why I wanted to give you a
Well, I'll just start out by saying that thank you guys for hearing us out and letting us come in. We're a local company. We started in Mingo County, West Virginia. We recently expanded in the last 2 years to Louisa, Kentucky, and South Point, Ohio. We're doing a little bit of further expansion. One of the things, I've been doing this for about 10 or going on 11 years. For a large national company, I did all the municipal bid jobs for the Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, and Michigan. I built multiple fire stations, municipal buildings, police stations. I did the police station in Grayson, a lot of things like that. And I've seen these scenarios really get played out and get molded to where the fire chief on the other end of the room and the mayor on the other end of the room want two different entities to build their building, or they want it in block, or they want it in wood, or they want it built by this company and whatever. But what you guys have to do, and what the various municipalities and Board of Education has to do, you've got to be good stewards of your money. And that's all the money you can save that you don't spend on a standing seam roof or a shingle roof, with the equal coverage and equal protection of keeping the kids dry and keeping the long-term integrity of your structure intact, is if you can save $50, $100, $20,000, $50,000, that's money you can use for other things, for other projects. I'm sure some of you people are in here trying to allocate funds for different things today. So a little bit about what we do and how we go about things. You guys came into our store, I think, it's been what, 5 months ago, 4 months ago, and we just gave information, and we just give it to you honest. And there are better roofing products out there. There absolutely are, but what we have is the most affordable and highest quality roofing product available in this region today. We have the highest quality equipment, we just bought new equipment, and we keep growing, and we keep employing more people. So I'd like to take that into consideration when you consider what you bid. Now, as far as the structure itself, in 1978, when they enacted a different building code, they called it a re-roof code. And what that did was allow for multiple layers of shingles, which we've seen homes with multiple layers of shingles and things like that. Well, before they added that into the building code, it wasn't spec'd to hold the auxiliary weight of single or double or triple or adding metal roofing. So since that time, that's all in the International Building Code for per Kentucky ABC. I think 13 is when it's enacted here in Kentucky. That's the International Building Code, and Kentucky's adopted that. All that weight, so the weight consideration when transferring from shingles or putting metal over the shingles, which will save you thousands of dollars, will be a significant point that I'm sure that the architects probably gave you, saying, oh, it's going to weigh too much, we need to take it off, we need to put shingles on. Did they?
Yeah, well, they told us we need to take shingles off.
Right.
Is that correct? Yeah.
One of the things that we do, we provide several different products on a large scale to separate the shingle from the metal itself. Now, in time, all of our homes, all of these buildings and structures move and shift. So it's not a 5-year problem or a 10-year problem, it's a 30-year problem by not having something between the metal and the shingle as it moves and slides, and it's just natural, people walking on it. So it acts like sandpaper, can remove the galvanization from the bottom. But in applying it over shingle, which saves significant cost, time, labor, dumping fees, and things like that, we put we probably, in this case, a synthetic felt, is that what we're talking about? A synthetic felt's a product called Grip Right. It's textured for safety and things like that. And it goes under the roof between the shingle and prevents that phenomenon from happening. That's a major drawback in older types of metal roofs that you may have seen and happen. And one of the things that we do to combat little things like that is in a roll forming process, the round ribs have a tendency to not have, we have a rolled round rib, it's about a 3/4 inch, what we call an ag rib. I know this is getting a little technical. They have a tendency to have a phenomenon called microfracture. Now, we've all seen buildings around here that are square steel buildings that have cracks and rust going right down those seams of those old buildings. So we eliminate that risk through that. Now with the standing seam, you do get that hard, sharp turn, and anybody that's ever been a painted piece of metal knows that the paint cracks. Well, in these roll forming processes, it's eased in so it doesn't peel it back, but it does get there on these high standing seams. So that's my only sale against a standing seam roof would be that, which is something that we don't provide. It's something we can get, but it's usually 4 to 5 times the cost of a standard quality metal roof system. And we're not talking about screwing tin to a roof, we're talking tin, everybody asks for that. It's, #1 grade galvalume, 40-year warranty, and we have the highest quality screw available in the market with the protective grommet and things like that. That's one thing that a lot of people sell against is the screw in the roof. Well, the screw is the most common problem in metal roofing. What we do is we have a better rubber washer that's covered to protect it from UV rays, which will integrate it in time. So that's a little bit about what I think I can do for you. I'm really exciting these guys. So if anybody wants to talk about roofing, just let me know.
Sir, I'm concerned about 2 W's. First of all, weather, as far as wind, and also about the warranty.
40-year warranty, it said 40 years.
Yeah, 4-year warranty, it does have them prorated on fading. They're going to fade, it's a graduated scale. I can say in my career that I've had to repaint 2 roofs that were faded, and I just said, hey, can I come look at your roof? We went out and looked at it, we repainted it. Now, the most common failure in metal roofing is a complete separation of the primer from the galvalume, which you may have seen buildings where it just comes off in hand-sized chunks around the gutter. That's a problem in the roll forming process when they made it and when they cut it. It's either a dull shear and things like that, and you'll get that separation. And once paint starts coming off a car or something, you can just keep flaking it off, and that's what happens. But as far as the wind goes, have you ever heard anybody about getting their metal roof blown off? The way the system is engineered, when you engineer a proper roof system and utilize the proper trims and things, it eliminates that shear where you get wind will get one shingle and pick it up and rip it off, and then it goes and goes and goes. Well, in a metal roofing, a single seam, or a seamless metal roofing system, that's absolutely not a problem to consider whatsoever.
Just all goes off at once.
Right, yeah. If that would happen, I got some tornado shelters I'd like to sell you.
What about the R factor, the difference between a shingle and a metal roof?
Well, the R factor really doesn't have anything. R factor in relation to insulation is called retention value. Okay, so the retention value doesn't matter because that's going to be in your attic, below your trusses and below your roof. So that's where you need your retention to create flow through your seam and from your soffit.
So how do you seal your envelope then with that?
Well, the envelope is completely sealed above all that.
Okay.
Okay, and then you vent the ridge or you vent it, however the building's vented, you have to acclimate your roofing system to how the existing and a retrofit structures are vented.
And that's where you were talking about where the sheeting goes in here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but as far as the refraction properties of a lighter metal roof, which I think that the color you guys were discussing was one of our lighter colors, that's actually an Energy Star rated coating per the paint manufacturer, and it does do a great job of reflecting heat where shingle roofs absorb heat and kind of retain it. So it's a common misperception. I always tell people to go over the store that I run is up in South Point, Ohio, and I say go over there to Sam's and touch every hood. Doesn't matter the color of the car, it's all the same. So the colors of the paint don't really retain any more heat.
So our architect, of course, we started out talking 29 gauge, and then the architect said 22, and then we heard 26, so now they're saying 24, right?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah,
what
I've
you're saying?
never seen 22, except for industrial applications where there was a huge auxiliary load, like a spray foam insulation, where it was like a refrigerated beef barn. It was in Wolfe County, actually. They built I didn't get that bid. It was several years ago, but they built a meat processing facility, and it had because of the span between the girts, okay? When it comes to gauge, the only reason the gauge makes any difference on the metal is the span at which it needs to to protect. So like you've seen a pole barn, for instance, a post frame structure, everybody knows what a pole barn is around here. They're 2 foot, 3 foot on center. Well, when you get outside of 4 foot and 6 foot, that's where you need the 26 gauge because it has to bear that weight of a 6 foot, 200-pound man on it without getting dense, and a phenomenon called ghosting is what we call it in the industry, where you look up a roof and it's going like that. So going flat on decking, the gauge doesn't make any difference unless you want to hit somebody with it.
So the lower the gauge, the
Standing seam roofing, yeah, works. By its nature, it's got to be snapped together. So it's actually only affixed to the structure at the top and bottom. And it's still just as good if it's affixed properly. And it snaps together and snaps into each other. But that seam itself has to be stronger because of people walking on it or whatever. It would just bend over in a thinner gauge metal. But the 29 would actually do that. Now, we're also talking about the difference in the 3 or 4 pieces of notebook paper. If you throw a micrometer on that stuff, we're talking about a very, very small difference. But we're talking about probably half the cost of a standing seam roof in using our roofing system.
No, like you said, you've already said on here of metal roofs being blown off. Of course, I think most people complain, the big complaint with all of this.
It slides
Where it
off.
slides off and takes our gutter off, so you got
Right.
snow guards right on it.
Yeah, and I think in a commercial situation like this, I'd have to double check the code, but we make a product called a gutter guard that's designed to keep the snow on the roof, but I think we'd use probably a Levi's cleat or something like that that's color matched.
tested.
Yeah, it's proven, tested, and guaranteed. It's also color matched with the paint, and you just scale that to the length of the roof and the width of the roof as to how many you need. I did do a project once in Jackson, Ohio, that was a 60 by 120 fellowship hall basketball court for a church, and the parking lot was in the front. And I said, we put the snow guards on the front above the sidewalk per Ohio code, but they didn't want it on the back. Well, what happened was all the ladies started parking in the back when they were bringing their potlucks in for church and coming in the back door. Well, one morning during church, the roof slid off and busted the windshield out of 5 cars. So it's something that you have to have, in a metal roof. And it's code. I mean, it's international building code. If you scale the snow guards right, and there are snow guards on a building, you won't see that happen. Now, you'll see it maybe squirting through in a small piece, but not that sheeting that can injure someone. But I can't say nothing can happen.
It's a 40-year warranty.
Yep, lifetime warranty for you. That's lifetime warranty for me. I'm sure.
No, I like it. I mean, I do.
You got a good axe, you ought to take it on the road.
Been doing it for years. The first thing I sold was a Kirby vacuum in 1996, and I realized I like this game.
Yeah.
So would you use our school as like a showpiece?
No, we wouldn't do that without explicit permission.
Well, yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I would hope.
Some structure, yeah.
I would hope that you would want to use our school as a showpiece to say, hey, this is an example of our,
Yeah, that
of
would
what
be
we do
something
for
we
school.
need to do with an explicit release to allow to use the photo, name, and image of any kind. I would do that with a computer store that I built or a fire station that I built.
How much do you pay for that?
Do we pay? It's just permission. That's it. A smile and a handshake. Yeah.
All right, so y'all been,
We add 10% and give you 10% off.
okay, you've looked, you've looked at the school, correct? I mean, you all have been to the school. You've been to Eden Elementary.
Billy has
right?
been to the school, yeah. I talked with these guys at our other store, and then I've got other responsibilities.
And, some of the history of that school, it opened up in 2003, and it's leaked from practically day one.
Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about that on the way down, and I was thinking about, well, we're selling against shingle, and I understand that. We're always selling against different types of roof systems, but I can tell you one thing, I can guarantee your shingle roof's already leaking, so you might need to, look at a different thing. And I've got, me personally, either of the stores that I've been involved in, I've got 0 roof leak calls. The roofs that we've done, but it all has to do with proper insulation. That's why utilizing us to install it, utilizing people that do roofing every day, that manufacture these products on our side. We manufacture, it's a separate party that does the installation due to insurance reasons and things like that, but they do roofing every day. And like I said, it's not screwing metal to a roof, it's actually engineering a roofing system to make everything work. You know, there's one little section of the roof that we were looking at in photos that's rubberized, and we may need to adjust some things on that above the front entryway. We may need to go ahead and redo that in rubber.
So I think one of the things our architect was using to convince them to go with asphalt was the external fasteners and the internal fasteners. So all he said, oh, in, 5 years and you're going, your external fasteners are going to be.
Yeah, a low-quality external fastener that's improperly installed. You know, they're designed to be properly installed. Anything that's not properly installed, if you don't tighten all the lug nuts on your car, it's going to wobble down the road. Or if you lose a balance in a wheel balance in your car, it's going to wobble. So if it's properly installed, which we have quality control measures, and the guy that does our quality control, you guys would all be afraid of him. He's a former professional boxer, and he's really mean to the guys. But I'm just kidding. He makes them go really well. Pardon me?
Well, that's Tommy Diamond.
No.
Okay. I didn't know if y'all knew Tommy Diamond.
No, I do not.
He does. Yeah, when you said boxer, Mingo.
Yeah, it's a matter of proper installation. The internal fasteners, like I said, on the standing seam, they're designed to snap in, and but the problem is their fail points are 2, where in a 2-foot-on center, in a regular roof, the fail points are 50. So it'd have to fail in 50 places up, the size of a roof like this to actually cause some kind of catastrophic failure. But I can tell you that in my experience doing warranty service and things like that, if there's not a chimney or a cupola or a skylight on the building, then I can use, if there are one of those things, I know that's where the leak is. I just go there and find where it is. If it's not, it's a screw. And you can literally go down the roof and start touching them, they'll do something. And then that specifically, like times when snow's sitting on, and you get a very slow melt and drain, that's when they're more likely to leak than they are when it's raining like crazy. So, with proper installation and proper due diligence, which we make sure that we don't want to come back in that 40-year period. That's what we don't want to do. So we make sure we do it right.
Well, what do you think, energy?
Yeah, I like the part, see, the biggest thing you have to look at on roofing is insulation. About keeping your R factors where it should be. And metal roof, with the lighter colors, the reflective part, it won't, ascertain and keep that heat and things in there.
They've actually taken away that tax credit, but for a homeowner, it used to be an energy tax credit of X amount of dollars or X amount of percent up to whatever.
If you have a dark colored roof and it's not insulated properly, then, that will retain the heat within the building, which causes your chiller to run harder, you see. With what they have right now, metal roofs are fine.
The insulation on the structure should be fine through the attic and whatever. If it's, I'm assuming it's a wood truss structure, correct?
I'd say it is mine, isn't it?
I'm just assuming. If it is, then it's insulated through the attic, and then the flow is created through the soffit and the ridge vents. And we wouldn't affect that either way with whatever roofing system you chose.
I like it. I'm satisfied. I'm glad you all came. I mean, unless anybody else got any questions.
I just appreciate you taking the time to come and explain your system to us.
Well, like you say, you don't want to come back in 40 years, do you?
Right. But at the same time, we will. You get local staff, you have some guy from Lexington coming down, and not that, I haven't gone to Michigan and built buildings either, but you have some guy from out of town, but he's not going to be able to get over here and fix a problem if there is one.
Well, last roof we had the person, after that came back many times.
Well, what we'll do is we can give you like a 8-month, 12-month, because that's when you're going to discover if something is wrong, craftsmanship warranty, or we can come back and fix it.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right.
I have a room that came from quality.
Thank you. You guys have a good day.
She has a quality room.
Oh, yeah. All right. Thank you very much. Thanks, guys. Thanks for your time, folks. Thank you.
We don't have, no, I think it's, anybody else here that we have that do business? Anybody?
Okay, what about reports? Administrative staff reports? No. Martin County Education Association?
No.
Okay, our next item is going to be approval to enter into closed session for the purpose of personnel KRS 61.810. I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion to enter closed session. I need a second.
I'll second it.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay, we're standing.
Thanks for hanging in there. Where you gonna go over?
Okay, at this time, I need a motion to approval to exit close. I don't think so, no, if we come out of closed session, we don't. Okay. Just if we come out of closed session is all we have to do. I need approval to exit closed session for the purpose of personnel KRS 61.810 and to make any necessary action.
I'll make that motion.
Have a
I'll
motion?
second.
Have a second, all in favor say aye.
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 Okay, at this time, I need a motion that we hire Larry James as superintendent of Martin County Board of Education in pursuit to the contract negotiation. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. And at this time, I need a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Need a second?
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yeah.